The massive alien ship appeared over Earth without warning. It was bigger than any human space station, shaped like a twisted flower made of metal and light. Admiral Kehoe Park stood on the bridge of Earth's newest diplomatic vessel, the Sejong, watching the alien ship through the main screen. His dark eyes showed no fear, only careful attention to every detail. "They're sending a message, Admiral," said Dr. Sujin Kim from her station. She was Earth's best expert on alien life, even though they had never met any aliens before today. Her fingers moved quickly over the controls as strange sounds filled the bridge. The sounds changed into words that everyone could understand. "Greetings, people of Earth. We are representatives of the Galactic Council. We invite your leaders to meet with us. This is a great honor for your young species." Kehoe looked at his team. Captain Do-Hyun Lee stood near the weapons controls, his soldier's instincts making him ready for anything. Ambassador Young-Mi Choi checked her translation devices one more time. Engineer Tae-Woo Shin ran final tests on their recording equipment. They had trained for this moment for 3 years, ever since Earth's deep space sensors first detected alien signals. "Send our reply," Kehoe said calmly. "Tell them we accept their invitation and are ready to meet." The journey to the meeting place took 2 days. The alien ship guided the Sejong to a space station that made human cities look like tiny toys. The station was shaped like a huge wheel, with thousands of lights covering its surface. Ships from dozens of different worlds moved around it like insects around a bright lamp. "Look at the size of that thing," Tae-Woo whispered as they got closer. "It must house millions of beings." Sujin was recording everything she saw. "The technology is incredible. Look how smoothly those ships move. And the materials they used to build this station, I've never seen anything like them." Do-Hyun was less impressed with the beauty. "Notice the weapon positions," he said quietly to Kehoe. "They have enough firepower to destroy entire fleets." The Sejong docked at a section marked with symbols that glowed bright green. As soon as the airlock opened, warm air flowed in, carrying strange but pleasant smells. The gravity felt normal, which surprised the humans. Someone had adjusted it just for them. 3 aliens waited to greet them. The first was tall and covered, in scales like a lizard, but it walked on 2 legs and wore elegant robes. Its eyes were yellow and seemed to look down on the humans even though it smiled. "Welcome to Convergence Point," the scaled alien said. "I am Vextar, Supreme Chancellor of the Hegemony. We have watched your species with great interest." The second alien looked like a walking tree with flowers growing from its branches. When it spoke, the flowers changed colors. "I am Bloom Ara, Director of the Trade Consortium. Your world has many resources that would be valuable in our markets." The third alien was the strangest. It looked like a giant insect with 6 arms and compound eyes that reflected rainbow colors. "I am Crix of the Military Council. Your weapons. Technology is primitive, but shows potential." Kehoe stepped forward and bowed slightly. "I am Admiral Kehoe Park, representing the United Earth Government. With me are my advisors, Dr. Sujin Kim, Captain Do-Hyun Lee, Ambassador Young-Mi Choi, and Engineer Tae-Woo Shin. We are honored by your invitation." Vextar's smile grew wider, showing sharp teeth. "Come, the Council is eager to meet you." They walked through corridors filled with beings from dozens of different worlds. Some looked almost human, others were so strange that the humans couldn't tell which end was the head. The walls showed moving pictures of beautiful planets and great space battles from long ago. "Your station is amazing," Young-Mi said as they walked. "How many species belong to your council?" "Currently 47 hold full membership," Blumara answered, its flower colors shifting to what might have been pride. "Many more have junior status as they prove themselves worthy." They entered a huge round room with seats rising up in circles like an ancient theater. Hundreds of aliens filled the seats, all turning to stare at the small group of humans. Kehoe felt like a mouse that had wandered into a meeting of cats, but he kept his face calm and confident. "Members of the council," Vexistar announced, his voice echoing through the chamber. "I present the representatives of Earth, a young species that has recently achieved interstellar capability." Murmurs filled the room. Some sounded curious, others dismissive. Kehoe heard one alien say, "Another primitive race seeking our protection." An ancient-looking being made of pure energy floated near the center of the chamber. When it spoke, its voice seemed to come from everywhere at once. "I am Nuloth, keeper of council records. Humans of Earth, your species has been observed for several of your years. You show promise, despite your youth." Vextar gestured for the humans to sit in special chairs that had been prepared for them. "The Galactic Council has existed for 10,000 Earth years," he began. "We maintain peace and order throughout this galaxy. We guide younger species towards civilization and wisdom." The presentation that followed was impressive and terrifying at the same time. The Council controlled thousands of star systems. Their technology could move planets and create new suns. Their military could destroy entire civilizations with ease. They had eliminated war, disease, and poverty from all member worlds. But such benefits come with responsibilities. Crix clicked, his insect voice sharp. New species must prove they can follow council guidance before they earn full membership. Blumara's flowers turned a golden color. "We offer Earth Junior membership in our great society. You would gain access to our knowledge, our protection, and our markets. In return, you would contribute to the common good." Vextar handed Kehoe a document that glowed with its own light. "The terms are generous. Your species would observe council sessions and learn from our wisdom. After 50 Earth years, if you have proven worthy, you might earn voting privileges." Kehoe read quickly through the terms. Earth would give 60% of all raw materials to the Council. All human technology would be shared freely. Humans could not expand beyond their own solar system without Council permission. The Council would place advisors on Earth to guide human development. "This is indeed generous," Kehoe said carefully. "But such an important decision requires careful thought. May we have time to discuss these terms among ourselves?" The aliens looked surprised. Vextar's smile faded slightly. "Most species accept immediately. The benefits are obvious." "Of course they are," Young Mi said smoothly. "That is why we want to make sure we understand every detail perfectly. We would not want to disappoint the Council through any misunderstanding." Nuloth's energy form pulsed brighter. "Wisdom often comes from careful consideration. Very well. You have 3 days to study our offer." As they left the great chamber, Sujin whispered to Kehoe, "Did you notice something? They kept calling it an offer, but it sounded more like a surrender treaty." Kehoe nodded slightly. "I noticed. The question is, what happens to species that refuse their generous offer?" That night, in their assigned quarters on the station, the human team gathered to discuss what they had learned. The rooms were comfortable but clearly monitored. They spoke carefully, using code words they had practiced. "The flowers in the garden are beautiful," Young Mi said, meaning the aliens seemed friendly on the surface. "But the soil conditions concern me," Do Hyun replied, indicating he sensed danger. Sujin pretended to admire the wall decorations while actually studying the monitoring devices hidden behind them. "I think we should explore more of the gardens tomorrow," she suggested. Kehoe looked out the window at the vast space station and the alien ships moving around it. Somewhere out there were the home worlds of dozens of species that had accepted the Council's generous offer. He wondered what those worlds looked like now and whether their people were truly as happy as the Council claimed. "Tomorrow we begin learning what they don't want us to know," he said quietly. The next morning, Kehoe split his team into different groups. They would explore the station separately and learn as much as possible before making their decision. Each person had a specific job to do. Dr. Soo-Jin Kim walked through the science sections of the station. She wore simple clothes instead of her uniform, hoping to blend in with the many researchers working there. The aliens she met seemed friendly enough, but she noticed something strange. They all spoke very carefully, as if someone might be listening. She found herself in a laboratory where several aliens worked on what looked like farming equipment. A small, furry creature with 6 legs was adjusting a machine that made plants grow faster. "Excuse me," Soo-Jin said politely. "I am new here. Could you tell me about your work?" The furry alien looked around nervously before answering. "We develop better crops for the outer worlds. The Council provides food for all member species." "That sounds wonderful," Soo-Jin said. "Your people must be very proud of this work." The alien's ears drooped. "My people? Yes. We are the Trilak. We joined the Council 200 years ago. Now we grow food for many worlds." Soo-Jin heard sadness in the alien's voice. "Is something wrong?" The Trilak looked around again, then leaned closer. "Come with me. I will show you something." They walked to a quiet corner where the Trilak showed Soo-Jin pictures on a small device. The first picture showed a beautiful green world covered in forests and cities. This was Trilak Prime, our home world, before we joined the Council, the alien whispered. The next picture showed the same planet, but now it was gray and empty. Huge machines covered the surface, digging deep holes in the ground. "What happened?" Soo-Jin asked, though she already feared the answer. "The Council needed our minerals. They said it would help all member species. Now my people live on other worlds, working in farms and factories. Our beautiful home is gone forever." Soo-Jin felt sick. "Did you have a choice?" The Trilak's 6 legs trembled. "Junior members do not choose. We contribute to the common good as the Council decides." Meanwhile, Captain Do-Hyun Lee walked through the military sections of the station. He pretended to be impressed by the weapons and ships on display, but his trained eyes saw something different. The alien soldiers looked soft and lazy. Their weapons were powerful but old-fashioned. Their ships were built for intimidation, not for real fighting. He stopped at a training area where young aliens practiced with energy weapons. A tall, blue-skinned instructor was showing them how to shoot at targets. "Your weapons are very impressive," Do-Hyun said to the instructor. The blue alien puffed out his chest with pride. "These are the finest energy rifles in the galaxy. With these, Council forces maintain peace everywhere." "When did you last use them in battle?" Do-Hyun asked casually. The instructor looked confused. "Battle? There has been no battle for 3,000 years. All species accept Council authority." Do-Hyun nodded and smiled, but inside he was thinking hard. An army that had not fought in 3,000 years would be weak, no matter how good their weapons were. These aliens had forgotten how to be real soldiers. In another part of the station, Ambassador Young-Mi Choi attended cultural meetings where different species shared their art and music. But she noticed that all the art looked very similar, even though it came from different worlds. All the music had the same rhythm and style. She sat next to a tall, thin alien with silver skin. "Your culture is beautiful," Young-Mi said. "How long has your species been creating art like this?" The silver alien looked sad. "We have made art this way for 500 years, ever since we joined the Council. Before that, our art was different, but the Council helped us improve it." "What was it like before?" Young-Mi asked. The alien glanced around nervously. "It was wild and strange. The Council said it was primitive. They taught us the proper way to make beautiful things." Young-Mi realized that the Council had not just taken resources from member species. They had also taken their cultures, their unique ways of thinking and creating. Everything was being made the same, boring and safe. Engineer Tae-woo Shin spent his time in the technology sections. The aliens were proud to show off their advanced machines and computers. But as Tae-woo studied them carefully, he made an amazing discovery. Much of their technology was not as advanced as it looked. He examined a computer that the aliens said could calculate anything in the universe. But when Tae-woo looked at how it worked, he realized that Earth's newest computers were actually faster and smarter. "This quantum processor is very interesting," he said to the alien scientist, showing him around. "How does it handle parallel calculations?" The scientist looked confused. "Parallel calculations? It processes information in sequence, of course. That is the only proper way." Tae-woo nodded politely, but he was excited inside. Earth's computers could do many calculations at the same time, making them much more powerful. The aliens had impressive-looking technology, but they had stopped improving it long ago. He also noticed that many of their machines were designed to look impressive rather than to work well. They had chosen form over function, making their technology weaker over time. That evening, the human team met in their quarters to share what they had learned. They spoke in code, knowing they were being watched and listened to. The garden tour was very educational, Sujin said, meaning she had learned disturbing things. Some of the older plants have been replaced with newer varieties. The military museum was impressive, Do-hyun said carefully, but many of the displays seemed like antiques rather than working equipment. Young Mi pretended to admire a piece of alien art on the wall. The cultural exchange was fascinating. Everyone here has such similar artistic styles. Very unified. Tae-woo examined a device that looked like it might be monitoring them. The technology demonstrations were interesting. Some of their methods seemed quite traditional, almost old-fashioned. Kai-ho understood what each of them was really saying. The council was not the benevolent organization it pretended to be. It was a system designed to keep the founding species in power forever, while newer members became slaves, providing resources and labor. Later that night, after the lights in their quarters had dimmed, there was a soft sound at their door. Ki-ho opened it carefully and saw a figure made of glowing energy. Nul-oth, the ancient council member. "May I speak with you privately, Admiral Park?" the energy being asked. Ki-ho stepped into the hallway. Nul-oth moved away from the quarters, and Ki-ho followed. "You are not like other species that come before the council," Nul-oth said when they were alone. "How so?" Ki-ho asked. "Others come seeking our approval, hoping we will accept them. You came to judge us." Ki-ho remained silent, letting the ancient being continue. "I have existed for 8,000 years. I have seen the council change from what it once was into what it is now. Long ago, we truly sought to help younger species grow and develop. Now we seek only to control them." "Why are you telling me this?" Ki-ho asked. Nul-oth's form pulsed with what might have been sadness. "Because your species frightens the other council members. You advance too quickly. You think too independently. They will try to contain you, as they have contained all the others. And if we refuse to be contained, then they will try to destroy you," Nul-oth said quietly. "But I wonder, what if, for the first time in millennia, they fail?" The ancient, being floated away, leaving Ki-ho alone in the corridor with a terrible decision to make. His species could accept the council's offer and become slaves, or refuse it and face the might of the galaxy's most powerful civilization. But as he walked back to his quarters, Ki-ho remembered something important. The council had been in power for so long that they had forgotten how to deal with real opposition. They had grown weak and comfortable, while humanity was still young and strong. Maybe, just maybe, that would be enough. On the morning of the third day, Admiral Ki-ho Park walked into the Great Council chamber with his team behind him. The hundreds of alien representatives watched them with curious eyes. Most expected the humans to accept the council's generous offer with grateful smiles. Vextar stood at the center of the chamber, his scaled face showing confident satisfaction. Admiral Park, have you and your people reached a decision about joining our great civilization? Kehoe stopped in the middle of the chamber and looked around at all the alien faces staring down at them. His voice was calm and clear when he spoke. We have indeed reached a decision, Supreme Chancellor. But first, we would like to present our own proposal to the Council. A wave of surprised murmurs filled the chamber. Blumara's flowers changed to a confused purple color. Your own proposal? That is most unusual. Perhaps, Kehoe said with a slight smile. But Earth believes that good partnerships require honest discussion from both sides. He nodded to Ambassador Young-Mi Choi, who stepped forward with a glowing document similar to the one the Council had given them. We offer the Galactic Council a true alliance with humanity, she announced. One based on equality and mutual respect. Crix's compound eyes flashed with anger. Equality? You are a single-system species that has barely learned to travel between stars. What could you possibly offer us as equals? Dr. Soo-Jin Kim moved to stand beside Young-Mi. We offer what you have lost over 10,000 years of unchallenged rule. The ability to grow, to change, and to become something better than what you were yesterday. The chamber erupted in angry voices. Many aliens shouted that this was insulting behavior. But Kehoe raised his hand for silence, and surprisingly, the noise died down. Something in his calm confidence made them want to hear what he would say next. Our proposal is simple, Kehoe continued. First, humanity requests full membership in the Council with equal voting rights from the day we join. We will not accept a probationary period or junior status. Vexitar's yellow eyes narrowed dangerously. Impossible! No species has ever been granted full membership without proving their worth over decades. Second, Young-Mi continued, ignoring the interruption, we propose mutual technology sharing. Earth will share our advances with Council members, and we expect the same in return. Not one-way extraction, but true cooperation. More angry voices rose from the assembled aliens. A blue-skinned representative shouted, Your primitive technology is worthless to us. Engineer Taewoo Shin stepped forward and activated a small device he had been carrying. Suddenly, a shimmering barrier appeared around the human delegation. The aliens gasped in shock. Their own security systems should have detected and blocked any unauthorized technology. This is a portable shield generator, Taewoo said calmly. It can protect a small group from energy weapons or environmental hazards. We developed it using principles that your technology has not yet discovered. The shield flickered and disappeared. The chamber was completely silent now. Captain Do-Hyun Lee spoke next. Third, we demand territorial sovereignty. Humans will expand to any systems we can reach and develop without requiring Council permission. We will respect the borders of existing member species, and we expect the same respect in return. Outrageous! Crix clicked angrily. The Council controls all expansion in this galaxy. We decide which species may settle where, based on their contribution to the common good. Fourth, Soo-Jin said, her voice growing stronger, Earth will keep 100% of its resources. We will trade freely with Council members, but we will not surrender our wealth to support a system that enslaves entire civilizations. She activated her own device, and holographic images appeared in the air above the humans. The images showed Trillac Prime as it was before joining the Council, green and beautiful. Then they showed it as it was now, a gray wasteland of mining equipment. We have evidence, Soo-Jin continued, that so-called junior member species are systematically stripped of their resources, their cultures, and their freedom. The Trillac people now work as laborers on other worlds while their homeworld is destroyed. The Hessan species has forgotten their own language and customs. This is not civilization. This is conquest disguised as generosity. The chamber exploded into chaos. Some aliens shouted angrily at the humans. Others argued with each other. A few sat in stunned silence, perhaps remembering their own species' experience with council membership. Nuloth floated forward, his energy form pulsing brightly. "These are serious accusations, humans. Do you have proof of these claims?" Young Mi activated another device. Recordings began to play. Conversations with junior member species, documents showing resource extraction quotas, and cultural suppression guidelines that the council used on new members. "We have extensive proof," she said. "Your own records show that no junior member species has ever been promoted to full membership in 10,000 years. This is not a path to equality. It is a trap." Vextar stood up, his whole body shaking with rage. "How dare you spy on us? How dare you make these accusations?" Kehoe remained perfectly calm. "We did not spy. We simply listened to what people told us when they thought someone might actually care about their suffering." Du Hyun stepped forward again. "Which brings us to our fifth and final point. Earth demands cultural protection for all species. No member of our proposed alliance would be forced to adopt the customs, art, or thinking patterns of other species. Diversity makes us stronger, not weaker." He gestured to the chamber around them. "Look at yourselves. 47 different species, and yet you all think the same way, create the same art, follow the same rules. You have created a galaxy of copies, not a community of partners." Blumara's flowers turned a deep red color. "Our unity is our strength. Chaos and disorder follow when species refuse proper guidance." Su Jin shook her head sadly. "You call it unity, but it is really fear. Fear of change, fear of being challenged, fear of admitting that someone else might have a better idea." She looked up at all the alien faces surrounding them. "When was the last time any of you invented something new? When did any of your species last create art that surprised you? When did anyone in this chamber last learn something that changed how they see the universe?" The silence stretched long and uncomfortable. Finally, a small voice from one of the upper tiers spoke. "It has been a long time." Vextar turned toward the voice angrily, but Kehoe spoke before the Supreme Chancellor could respond. "That is what Earth offers this council," he said. "Not resources to be taken, not a culture to be suppressed, not a people to be controlled. We offer the chance to remember what it feels like to grow again." Crix's wings buzzed with agitation. "And what if we refuse your arrogant demands? What if we decide that humanity is too dangerous to be allowed to develop freely?" Du Hyun's smile was cold and sharp. "That would be most unwise." The captain activated his own device, and suddenly the chamber's main display showed detailed tactical analyses of council military positions, weapon capabilities, and strategic weaknesses. The information was incredibly detailed and accurate. "We have been observing your forces just as carefully as you have been observing us," Do Hyun said. "Your military has not fought a real war in 3,000 years. Your soldiers are trained for parades and intimidation, not for battle. Your tactics are ancient and predictable. The display changed to show Earth's defensive capabilities and alliance possibilities with non-council species. Earth may be young, but we are not helpless. And we are not alone. There are many species in this galaxy that you have dismissed or ignored. Some of them have been waiting a long time for an alternative to council rule." Nuloth pulsed with what might have been admiration. "You came here not seeking our approval but offering us a choice. Join you as equals, or face you as competitors." Kehoe nodded. "That is exactly right. We hope to find partners among the stars. We still hope that is possible." Vextar's voice was low and dangerous. "The council will consider your proposal, but I warn you, no species has ever rejected our authority and prospered. The galaxy is a dangerous place for those who stand alone. Kehoe looked around the chamber one last time. Supreme Chancellor, with respect, we are not standing alone. And after today, I suspect we will not be the only ones asking these questions. The human delegation turned and walked out of the chamber, leaving behind hundreds of aliens who were beginning to wonder, perhaps for the first time in millennia, whether the way things had always been was really the way things had to be. The council chamber emptied quickly after the humans left, but the angry voices continued in the corridors outside. Kehoe and his team walked back to their quarters, while aliens whispered and stared at them from every doorway. That went well, Do-Hyun said quietly once they were alone. Better than expected, Kehoe replied. Now we see what they really are underneath all the polite words. They did not have to wait long to find out. Within an hour, Vextar appeared at their door with 2 large alien guards. The Supreme Chancellor's scaled face showed barely controlled rage. Admiral Park, the Council demands an explanation for your behavior. You have insulted representatives from dozens of worlds with your arrogant accusations. Kehoe stepped into the hallway to face the alien leader. We presented facts, not insults. If those facts make the Council uncomfortable, perhaps the Council should examine why. Vextar moved closer, his yellow eyes cold and threatening. You seem to forget that humanity is alone in this galaxy. Your single world orbits one small star among billions. We control thousands of systems with weapons that could turn your planet into dust. Is that a threat, Supreme Chancellor? Kehoe asked calmly. It is a reminder of reality, Vextar hissed. Your species exists only because we allow it. Remember that when you consider rejecting our generous offer. After Vextar left, other aliens came to visit the humans. Some brought threats, others offered bribes, and a few gave warnings about what happened to species that opposed the Council. Bloom Ara arrived with samples of rare metals and beautiful crystals. These could all belong to Earth, the plant being said, its flowers shifting to tempting gold colors. Your people could have wealth beyond imagination. All you need to do is accept junior membership quietly. Su Jin examined the crystals with polite interest. They are beautiful, but we have seen the price your junior members pay for such gifts. The flowers turned angry red. The Trilak were foolish with their resources. They wasted them on unnecessary luxuries instead of contributing properly to the common good. We simply helped them use their wealth more wisely. By destroying their homeworld and scattering their people across the galaxy? Young Mai asked. Bloomara's leaves rustled with annoyance. Progress sometimes requires sacrifice. The Trilak sacrifice benefits all council members. After the plant being left, Crix arrived with holographic displays of massive war fleets. Observe the power of council military forces, the insect alien clicked. 50,000 warships patrol our territory. Each one carries enough firepower to level continents. Taewoo studied the fleet displays with professional interest. Impressive numbers, but quantity is not always the same as effectiveness. Crix's compound eyes flashed dangerously. Are you suggesting that your primitive weapons could challenge council superiority? I am suggesting that assumptions can be dangerous, Taewoo replied calmly. Especially assumptions that have never been tested. Even some of the junior member species came to speak with the humans, but their visits were different. They came secretly, late at night, speaking in whispers. Trilak worker found Sujin in the station's gardens. Please, the furry alien begged quietly, do not anger the council on our behalf. They will make us pay for your defiance. Sujin felt her heart break for the small creature. What if there was another way? What if you did not have to live in fear anymore? The Trilak's 6 legs trembled. There is no other way. The Council's power reaches everywhere. Even if we could escape, where would we go? Perhaps, Sujin said carefully, you would not need to go anywhere. Perhaps the galaxy, could change instead. Later that night, as the humans prepared for sleep, Nuloth appeared again. The ancient energy being seemed more solid than before, as if strong emotions were giving it greater physical form. "The council has made their decision," Nuloth said, without greeting. "Tomorrow they will present their final offer. It will not be as generous as the first." Kehoe sat up in his chair. "What will they demand?" "Limited voting rights on minor issues only. You may keep 30% of your resources instead of 40. Your expansion will be restricted to 5-star systems, and council observers will oversee all human government decisions." Nuloth paused. "They call it a compromise." "And if we refuse?" Young Mi asked. "Then they invoke Article 7 of the Council Charter," Nuloth replied. "Any species that threatens galactic stability may be contained by whatever means necessary." Du Hyun leaned forward. "Contained. That is an interesting word choice." Nuloth's form pulsed with what looked like sadness. "In 10,000 years, 17 species have refused council membership. None of them exist anymore." The room fell silent. Finally, Kehoe spoke. "Were they destroyed in battle?" "No," Nuloth said quietly. "Most were eliminated before they could fight back. Their stars were destabilized, causing their suns to explode. Very clean, very final, no evidence left behind." Taewoo stood up suddenly. "But humanity knows the council exists. Other species have seen us here. If Earth's sun suddenly explodes right after we refuse council membership, then unfortunate. Accidents will claim the lives of witnesses," Nuloth finished. "Space is dangerous. Ships disappear. Even entire colonies can suffer tragic system failures." The ancient being moved toward the door, then stopped. "However, there is something different this time. Never before has a species come to the council with allies already in place." Kehoe raised an eyebrow. "Allies?" "3 non-council species have sent messages to the station in the past 2 days. They wish to meet with Earth's representatives. Apparently, word of your proposals has spread through unofficial channels." After Nuloth left, the human team sat in stunned silence. They had known the council was dangerous, but the extent of their ruthlessness was shocking. 17 species, Sujin whispered. "Billions of lives just erased." "Because they wanted to remain free," Do Hyun added grimly. Young Mi looked at her teammates. "So what do we do? Accept their terms and become slaves? Or refuse and watch Earth die?" Kehoe stood and walked to the window. Outside, alien ships moved peacefully through space, following routes established thousands of years ago. Everything looked calm and orderly, but now he knew the truth behind that peace. "There is a third option," he said finally. "We gamble everything on the belief that bullies are weakest when someone finally stands up to them." The next morning, the council chamber was packed with representatives from every member species. Word had spread that the humans would give their final answer today. Most aliens expected either grateful acceptance or terrified surrender. Vextar stood in the center of the chamber, his scaled face showing triumphant satisfaction. "Admiral Park, the council has considered your requests carefully. We offer you one final compromise." He gestured, and the terms appeared in glowing letters above the chamber. The restrictions were harsh, the demands severe, and the message was clear. Submit or die. These terms are generous beyond what your species deserves, Vextar announced. You have 24 hours to accept them. After that, the offer will be withdrawn permanently. Kehoe looked around the chamber at all the alien faces staring down at him. Some showed pity, others showed anticipation of his defeat. A few showed something that might have been hope. He thought about Earth, blue and green and alive, spinning peacefully around its yellow sun. He thought about humanity's dreams of exploring the stars and meeting new friends among the cosmos. He thought about all the species that had dreamed the same dreams, only to have them crushed by council generosity. Then he thought about the 3 mysterious allies that Nuloth had mentioned, and about the junior member species who lived in fear, and about the possibility that somewhere in this vast galaxy there might be others who were tired of the council's ancient tyranny. Kehoe smiled, and his smile was sharp and confident. Supreme Chancellor, we appreciate the Council's final offer, but before we respond, we have one more presentation to make. Young Mai stepped forward with a new device that she activated without asking permission. Suddenly, the chamber filled with voices, recordings of conversations with junior member species, testimonies from suppressed cultures, and evidence of the Council's crimes going back centuries. Tomorrow, Kehoe announced as the recordings played, humanity will give our final answer. But tonight, we invite every being on this station to consider what kind of galaxy they want to live in. As the humans left the chamber, angry alien voices erupted behind them. But mixed in with the anger, Kehoe heard something else. Questioning voices, wondering voices, and for the first time in thousands of years, voices that dared to speak of change. The next morning, Admiral Kehoe Park walked into the council chamber for the final time. His team followed behind him, their faces calm and determined. The chamber was more crowded than ever before. Word had spread throughout the station that today would decide humanity's fate. Vextar stood at the center, his yellow eyes gleaming with anticipated victory. Around him, the other council leaders watched with satisfaction. They had given the humans time to realize how helpless they were. Now they would accept council authority like every other species before them. Admiral Park, Vextar announced, his voice echoing through the chamber. 24 hours have passed. The council awaits your final decision. Kehoe stopped in the center of the chamber and looked up at the hundreds of alien faces surrounding him. He saw arrogance in some, pity in others, and fear in a few. Then he began to speak, his voice clear and strong. Members of the Galactic Council, he said, 3 days ago, humanity came to this place hoping to find partners among the stars. We hoped to discover civilizations that shared our dreams of exploration, growth, and friendship between different peoples. He paused and looked directly at Vextar. Instead, we found something else entirely. We found an empire that has forgotten how to dream. Angry murmurs rose from the assembled aliens, but Kehoe continued without stopping. You call yourselves a council, but you are ruled by fear. Fear of change, fear of challenges, fear of anyone who might think differently than you do. For 10,000 years, you have built a galaxy where nothing new can grow, where no one can rise above the place you assign them. Blue Mara's flowers turned dark red. How dare you lecture us about fear? We have created peace and stability throughout the galaxy! Kehoe turned to face the plant being. You have created a graveyard, a beautiful, orderly graveyard where nothing lives except by your permission. Dr. Sujin Kim stepped forward. We have seen your peace. The Trilak people, scattered and broken while their world dies. The Hessan species, who have forgotten their own songs and stories. Dozens of cultures, all slowly disappearing into the same gray uniformity. This is civilization! Crix clicked angrily, his insect wings buzzing with rage. Order instead of chaos! Unity instead of conflict! Captain Do-hyun Lee smiled coldly at the military leader. You fear conflict so much that you have forgotten how to handle it. Your soldiers are parade decorations. Your fleets are museum displays. You have been unchallenged for so long that you cannot imagine anyone saying no to you. The chamber erupted in furious voices. Aliens shouted insults and threats at the small group of humans standing fearlessly in their midst. But Kehoe raised his hand, and somehow his presence commanded silence. The Galactic Council has made humanity an offer, he said when the noise died down. Junior membership, with the promise that we might someday earn the right to have opinions about our own fate. He looked around the chamber one more time. We respectfully decline. The words fell into the chamber like stones into still water. For a moment, there was complete silence. Then chaos exploded as hundreds of aliens began shouting at once. "Impossible!" Vextar roared over the noise. "No species refuses the council!" 17 species have tried, Kehoe replied calmly. "We know what happened to them. You destroyed their sons and erased them from history." More gasps and shouts filled the chamber. Many of the junior member representatives looked shocked. They had never heard about the destroyed species. "You seem to think," Kehoe continued, his voice cutting through the noise, "that humanity will simply wait on Earth for you to come and destroy us, that we will sit helplessly while you decide our fate." Engineer Tae-Woo Shin activated a device, and suddenly, the chamber's displays showed star charts of human space. But the charts were not what the council expected to see. "While we have been here talking with you," Tae-Woo announced, "Earth has not been idle. Our ships have made contact with the Corvani Federation, the Free Worlds Alliance, and the Independent Systems Collective." The charts showed dozens of star systems that had never been under council control. Ships moved between them, carrying messages and forming new alliances. "These are primitive species of no importance," Crick said, but his voice sounded less certain than before. Ambassador Youngmi Choi smiled. "Perhaps you should update your information, military chief. The Corvani have developed interstellar travel. The free worlds have established their own trade networks. The independent systems have technologies that would surprise you." She activated her own device, and recordings began to play. Voices from across the galaxy, species that had been ignored or dismissed by the Council, now speaking together for the first time in millennia. "We, the free peoples of the galaxy," the recording announced, "reject the authority of the so-called Galactic Council. We will no longer accept that our fate must be decided by others." Vextar's scaled face turned pale. "This is impossible. These species do not have the power to challenge us." Kehoe stepped closer to the Supreme Chancellor. "Neither did we 3 days ago. But power is not just about weapons and threats. Real power comes from people who refuse to be afraid." Du Hyun moved to stand beside his admiral. "You want to know about our military preparations? Every human colony ship carries defensive systems you have never seen. Our home system is protected by weapons that use principles your scientists abandoned centuries ago, and we are not alone." The star charts changed again, showing the movement of ships throughout non-council space. Hundreds of vessels from dozens of species were moving toward defensive positions. "You can try to destroy Earth's sun," Do-hyun said quietly. "But the moment you do, every free species in the galaxy will know that the Council's promises of peace are lies. How long do you think your empire will last when people stop believing in it?" Nuloth floated forward, his energy form pulsing brightly. "In 10,000 years, no one has ever walked away from this chamber without accepting Council authority." Kehoe turned to the ancient being. "Then it is time for something new to happen." He looked up at the assembled aliens one final time. "To those species who are tired of living in fear, who remember what it felt like to dream of something better, Earth extends an invitation. Join us in building a galaxy where growth is celebrated, not feared. Where different peoples can work together as equals, not as masters and slaves." Young Mi stepped forward. "The Cooperation Alliance begins today. Any species that wants to govern itself, trade freely, and explore the stars without asking permission is welcome." Su-Jin activated a broadcasting device. "This message is being sent on all frequencies throughout the galaxy. To every world, every ship, every being who can hear it, you have a choice now." The human delegation turned and began walking toward the chamber exit. Behind them, the council sat in stunned silence. unable to believe what they were witnessing. "If you leave this chamber," Vexitar called after them, "you will be declaring war on the entire galaxy." Kehoe stopped and looked back one last time. "No, Supreme Chancellor. We are declaring that the galaxy belongs to everyone, not just to you." As the humans reached the exit, something unexpected happened. A small, furry figure stood up in the junior member section. It was the Trilak worker Su-Jin had spoken with. "Wait!" the Trilak called out, his 6 legs trembling but his voice clear. If there is really a choice, the Trilak wished to withdraw from the council as well." More gasps filled the chamber. Then another voice spoke up, a representative from the Hessan species. "The Hessan people also choose freedom." Within minutes, representatives from 6 junior member species had declared their withdrawal from the council. The ancient chamber, which had not seen real dissent in millennia, was witnessing the collapse of everything the council had built. Vextar stood frozen in shock as his empire began to crumble around him. The humans walked calmly out of the chamber, followed by the representatives of the newly free species. 6 months later, Kehoe stood on the observation deck of humanity's first deep space colony, watching ships from a dozen different species work together to build a new kind of space station. This one was not designed to intimidate or control. It was built for cooperation and growth. "Admiral," Su-Jin's voice came over the communication system, "we are receiving another request for alliance membership. The Vendari Republic wants to join us." Kehoe smiled as he watched human and alien crews working side by side, building something that had never existed before, a truly free civilization among the stars. "Accept their request, Doctor," he said. "The galaxy is big enough for all of us." In the distance, council ships maintained their patrols, but they no longer seemed so large or threatening. The Galactic Council still controlled their core systems, but their empire was shrinking every day as more species chose freedom over security. The age of unchallenged council rule was ending, and a new chapter in galactic history was beginning. All because one species had the courage to walk away from a bad deal and show others that there was another way to live among the stars.